Welcome to Pioneer FX. Today is the 31st of October. Hope you guys are all doing well. 10 a.m. here in the UK. Now, before we make a start, just wanted to touch base on this upcoming week. What sort of economic data releases we have this upcoming week. There's a lot happening this week, actually, since it's the start of the new month in November. We've got a lot of PMIs coming out. We've got the Fed interest rate. We've got the RBA meetings and non-farm payroll for this upcoming week. The worldwide manufacturing and services PMIs will be released in the coming week for a detailed look into economic conditions into the start of Q4. Central banks meetings will meanwhile be in abundance, including the US, UK, and Australia, while October's US non-farm payrolls round off the week. So it's going to be a packed up week lined up ahead to kickstart worldwide manufacturing and services PMIs. So on Monday, through on Monday, we've got a load of PMIs, worldwide manufacturing PMIs out on Monday. We've also got the US ISM manufacturing PMI. Japan, we have the BOJ meeting minutes. And then we've got some inflation data for the Swiss, as well as the RBA cash rate, interest rate decision. Through to Wednesday on the 3rd, we've got the composites for PMIs, again, worldwide. And then we have the US national employment, as well as factory orders, ISM PMIs, and also the big one, the Fed funds and target rate. So expecting to see volatility to rise for this upcoming week. There's a lot of impactful news. So we could see a lot of volatility in the market. On Thursday, the 4th, we've got the Australia retail trade sales. And also we've got Norway policy rate. Eurozone, we've got the PPI. And then we've got the interest rate for the Bank of England. And then pushing through, we've got the usual jobless claims. And then Friday, we've got the non-farm payroll, the big non-farm payroll for the US, something to watch out for. Eurozone, retail sales, and we've got Canada's unemployment rate. So there's a lot happening for this upcoming week. I will send this across to you guys for a read. It's basically just a general good read with this special focus, something to basically watch out for this upcoming week. Now let's dive into the fundamentals. Currently, the fundamentals hasn't changed yet. Overall fundamental rank, Australia is the highest, and the weakest is the Mexican peso. As it stands, this still stays as it is. And now we'll shift over to our charts. Basically, nothing has changed. Our overall bias for Australia is long, and it's going to continue to be long. So looking at AUDUSD here from last week, it's just been tapping this 0.754 level over here. What he's trying to do now is trying to create a lot of sellers into the market right here. We've got a double top right here, and trying to attract a lot of traders to actually sell. So the moment we do get a retracement, this area here is going to be the golden area to start looking for potential buyers. You can potentially place a pending order here at 0.742. But at the moment, I'm still currently long from previous weeks. So expecting to see 0.768 as our target over here for AUDUSD. So pushing through to this upcoming week, let's just have a look at this week. For potentials, so for the potentials, we could see two scenarios being played out. One of the scenarios is price to push through to 0.7599, create a double top and come back down again, or price could shift all the way down towards 0.44 level to create more sellers in the market before pushing higher. So these two scenarios is most likely due to be played out. In terms of stops, I suggest you place your stop loss just below this level here would be ideal for those who are looking for entries. So psychological stops, that's the best, that's the safest place to put it for this week. UJ's been playing up this last week. Actually, we did get that shift down last week. It's slowed down slightly. What it's trying to do right now is trying to create buyers into the market. It formed a double bottom right here, and now what is most likely to happen is price could push up through to this resistance level, create more buyers in the market, push higher to take stop losses and liquidate this trade first. So this is the golden area to look for sales potentially before that massive meltdown. First target and then second target. So that's scenario one, which is most likely due to be played out. Currently short at the moment from these highs from previous weeks. So that's that one, scenario one. Second scenario is we could see price coming back down through to this level here, potentially create more buyers, push higher, and then melt through. So that's the second scenario for UJ. Pushing through USD Swiss franc from last week, Wednesday, it melted down and hit our target of 0.912. This was a fantastic trade for those who did catch it from these highs over here. We were selling this for many, many weeks. And yeah, it's hit our first target. Now, what to expect here at these lows is there's going to be a lot of buyers coming into the market, because obviously they're looking left and they can see a decent demand zone over here, a lot of buyers. So they're looking left and they think, yep, this is a beautiful area to start to look for buyers. So what to expect for this upcoming week is potentially price to push back down again, create a double bottom before pushing higher perhaps, or even through to this level here to create even more buyers before that meltdown towards 0.904 as our next target. So our next target is here. Let's hit our first target. I can basically do that, expecting 0.9044 USD Swiss franc. So that's the first scenario. What to expect here? Could have another scenario whereby price potentially pushes higher straight up, create buyers in this region here before pushing down. So two scenarios most likely due to be played out. We'll see how well it goes. So that's that one. New Zealand Swiss franc. Again, my bias for this is short. Currently creating a lot of buyers in the market. Yes, we do know Australia is extremely long. However, looking at it from the CFTC report, let's just go over to the CFTC trading stores. Nothing's changed, to be honest with you. Looking at the reports, they're playing the same narrative here. You can see a lot of sellers have creeped in. Large speculators are short. So now what to expect for New Zealand is there could potentially be some further weakness here, because you can see there's a massive drop from previous week here. So what to expect is potentially New Zealand, looking at large speculators, this was commercials. Let me just delete that. We're following these guys here, non-commercials, this blue line. So at the moment, you can see they've increased significantly to create some buying, some potentially New Zealand to start pushing higher. But do note this, guys, retail traders are also starting to go long. So what I feel is this is basically a trap to get retail traders to go long, and then overall price goes against them. So I'm expecting potentially some strength to kick in initially from the start, from the get-go, and then major weakness portraying for New Zealand in the future. So that's that one. So hence the reason why we're looking for potential sells. So we could expect what I'm expecting to see now. Look at that from last week. It hit our target of 0.65034, just about to hit our target, but not quite. So at the moment, what to expect, we can move this trend line here. So what to expect for New Zealand Swiss franc is at the moment it's currently respecting this trend line. It's currently respecting this trend line here. So this could be a trap here to get traders to go long because they're obviously looking left. So what to expect through to this week is potentially it could even go higher, break out of this trend line, and then melt down over here, and then target of 0.664. Second target or second scenario could be price could just push all the way up into this area here, push even higher to liquidate it. This could be the golden area to start looking for sales or increasing your lot size at 0.666 before melting down towards these lows and then targeting that as our first potential target. However, this is our sort of interim target. This is our interim target. Our long-term target is 0.625 to be targeted from these lows here. So that's our long-term target for NZD Swiss franc. So at the moment, a lot of buyers coming in. What to expect also is from these levels here, we could potentially get a meltdown down to these lows to create more buyers before pushing through. So three scenarios most likely to be played out for New Zealand Swiss franc. And in terms of psychological stops, 0.6698 is the best place to put it, because we could expect to see a major retracement first before that meltdown due to what is currently happening with the CFTC report. Palladium. This one was a beautiful trade last week. We managed to catch it at a discounted rate. As I mentioned on Wednesday, this area here is our discounted rate, this yellow box here. So price basically rejected from these levels here. For those who did catch it, well done. You're currently now 56,000 pips in profit. So what to expect now? For those who did miss it, we could expect to see a few retracements potentially back down. What we could expect to see is the following. So what we could expect to see right now is potentially a push lower through to these levels before price pushing up here. Pushing higher. For our first TP will be 2200. Second TP will be this area over here. And our long-term target is 2474 to be targeted for Palladium. So we managed to catch it at a discounted rate, but it could go even lower to liquidate some more traders potentially going long. At the moment, you can clearly see that it is creating a lot of sellers in the market, because you can see that this trend is currently looking bearish at this moment in time. So this trend line will be a key one to watch out for. We've got 0.1, which is here, 0.2. Could this be the third touch? The moment it touches this, we'll keep a close eye on it to see if price is going to react from it or not. So that's the first scenario. For those who did catch it last week on Wednesday at a discounted rate, you're in decent profit now. Second scenario is price could potentially push up to 2078 and then consolidate in this area before pushing higher towards our target and our second target for this upcoming week. So I'm just trying to be realistic, guys. a realistic target is better than a theoretical target for the week. So that's that in terms of palladium. Nothing has changed from last week. And then pushing through to oil now. We've been looking at this for quite some time, many weeks since these lows here. Obviously, price has retraced pretty badly. A lot of traders currently starting to go long now. But you can see that looking at it from a technical perspective, price is still above this trend line here. So we can see a lot of buyers coming into the market. A lot of buyers coming into the market in this area over here. I did mention to you guys, we could have a retracement from Wednesday last week. We could have a retracement from these levels here. Price retraced all the way up and currently following this blue line. So what to expect now through to this week? Get rid of that. What to expect now through to this week is potentially price to push higher into these levels, potentially hit our psychological stop loss once more before that massive push back down towards that first target, which it did hit our sort of first target. But I'm looking for 69 hours as our long-term target. So these could be our 3 sort of take profits for this upcoming week. Also, we could have another scenario to be played out as price push back down into these areas here, consolidate for quite some time before pushing higher and then melting through towards 79 and then 76. But my long-term target is down here towards 70. So we'll see how this one plays out, but still currently short. You can also see that there is a head and shoulder pattern being played out here. We could see the head, which is right here, left shoulder and a right shoulder here. And then that impulsive move here, massive M formation right here. So what to expect is a stop hunt high, liquidate everyone out first before pushing down. That could be most likely to be played out this upcoming week due to there's a lot of fundamental data releases. There's a lot of news coming out this week, which we had a look at earlier on. PMIs, we've got interest rate decision for Australia. We've got interest rate decision for the UK. And we've also got the big FOMC meeting. So there's a lot happening this upcoming week. Let's just have a look at gold. Gold is at a very interesting price right now, because looking at this is it's broken this trend line here, this uptrend that it has sort of made. It made a double top, and now what it's trying to do is create a lot of sellers before the next move. So it's come down to this area here. As I mentioned last week, this is our discounted area. This is our discounted rate. It just about tapped that 61.8 Fibonacci. What to expect this upcoming week is position yourselves to start going long through to this upcoming week, because there's a lot of sellers in the market right now. And let me just get rid of this. What I'm expecting right now is potentially, let me just get rid of the Fibonacci as well, just so that we can see a bit of price action first. So looking at this is there's a lot of buyers in this area over here. Now what it's trying to do is trying to liquidate the buyers first before making that real move. So what we could expect to see is price push lower, come through to 1782, retrace from that level, and then push even lower through to these levels here before pushing higher, create more sellers, and then pushing through to that 1831. So this is our golden area, our golden region. You could potentially start to add some longs from market open, but we could expect to see some further retracements because there's a lot of news coming out. So we could see a lot of volatile movements. The moment we see volatile movements, you can potentially get in at a discounted rate. So do hold fast. You could even push down even lower towards 1740 to give us a better risk to reward ratio. Second scenario, we could potentially see price potentially melt down towards 1750, and then we could grab it at 1740 to push through, retrace, and then hit that 1831. We're targeting 1831 potentially through to this week. Let's have a look at the report for gold. So you can see large speculators are overall long, retail traders are long, hedgers are pushing it through the other way. So expecting to see a lot of buyers creeping in from 1740 right up until 1800. So we could have a massive retracement first. We could get that massive retracement first through to this week. Sorry, price push through towards 1740 and then push higher. And also notice this, retail traders are overall long as well. So we could expect to see a major impulsive wave lower first before pushing through higher. So the safe trade will be to catch it from these lows to push through higher, sort of long term. So do expect a massive retracement for gold. AUDCAD, this one played out pretty well last week, but I was expecting to see 0.937 to be targeted, but we didn't quite get it. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this box. So what to expect through to this week? Let's just clean up our chart for AUDCAD. We've been catching AUDCAD from way back down here. Who's actually currently long on AUDCAD? Currently over 200 pips on my account for AUDCAD. 2 trades still running into decent profit. So what to expect through to this upcoming week is you can see that it's actually hitting this trend line here, this sort of descending trend line. So a lot of sellers coming in, just simply looking at this trend line as well, and also what to expect for this upcoming week. Okay, so this upcoming week, what to expect is we've got a resistance level here. So what could play out, or most likely to be played out, is a retracement back down towards these lows, potentially create even more sellers into the market. Could go even low as 0.924 before pushing through higher, or we could potentially just AUDCAD could potentially just go even higher towards 0.937 and then retrace from these high levels. But definitely targeting 0.937 as my first target to potentially start taking trades off the table. The dollar, last week we did get a massive meltdown, but from last week I did mention to you guys we could have a major retracement higher before pushing lower, which it did currently have last week. So it did push through lower and it pushed back high. So at the moment, what it's trying to do is trying to create as many buyers to creep into the market. So this one was on the 25th, which was on Monday. Price pushed lower, pushed higher. And now what to expect is potentially to grab some more buyers into the market. Let me just get rid of this, get rid of these lines so that you can see it. Okay. That looks a lot better now. So it's currently broken this sort of this intermediate sort of demand zone here. So what it's trying to do right now is potentially push through lower and then aim to go even higher potentially before pushing lower down towards 93.473. We've got this trend line here. It will potentially react from it, and then we can get a major drop down to 92. We're targeting 92 as our long-term target. We could have a retracement through these this area here. So we could potentially get a retracement to push higher through to these levels before pushing down. So that's that one. Or we could potentially get a meltdown towards these lows, create buyers into the market before melting through. But we're targeting 92 for the DX. Let's have a look at the report just to see what the big boys are currently doing for the dollar. Non-reportables, look at that. Buyers 84% currently long. This is telling you this thing is going to melt. A lot of buyers into the market. Yes, large speculators are overall long, but do expect to see a turning point from these highs. You can start to see a turning point here from the large speculators, expecting to see a meltdown. Look at this, guys. Overall, retail traders are long. So what to expect is now a meltdown for the dollar. Did we get it this week? It most likely could happen through to this week. Volatility, the most important thing that we spoke about last week was a rise in volatility. So we saw that rise in volatility there, but it didn't quite push even higher. So what I'm suggesting to see right now is, let me get rid of these lines. So it's starting to hit some intermediate support and resistance areas. You can see there's an intermediate there. Okay, what it's trying to do right now is trying to create sellers in the market. So we could potentially see a rise here, push back down. And then if we have some crazy news or something to push the volatility up, we could see that target to be hit, retracement, and then 31 to target. Or we could have another scenario whereby it's going to push through down to these levels here towards 13, create more sellers before spiking through and liquidating everyone. So these two scenarios most likely due to be played out. Yes, we do have an interim here as well. So what we could expect to see is potentially price push through lower and then break through. Whoops, get rid of that. Could push through, retrace from these levels before pushing higher. Yeah, so that's more realistic. So expecting to see volatility to kick up. Let's have a look at it through COP base, since trading style doesn't have VIX. So looking at VIX here. Yeah, looking at this from a large speculator's perspective, yes, they're overall short. Retail traders are overall short and they're going even further down. So there's a lot of liquidity to grab towards 25 and 30. So expecting to see a push higher for volatility in the future, in the long term. So overall, we are expecting to see volatility to go back up. It's definitely due a retracement, because you can see here from previous trades, it pushed up, pushed low, pushed up, pushed low, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down again. Twice it pushed down. So expecting to see a rise or a spike of volatility through to this week. And that's that. We're just focusing on these few trades. Most of them have hit our take. Well, some of them, most of them have. This AUDCAD has been hitting our take profit levels throughout. UJ expecting to see a major meltdown for UJ now, but we could have another spike higher before pushing lower. USD Swiss franc hit our first target last week, expecting to see that second target to be hit. New Zealand Swiss franc has started to sort of push down from last week, but we could expect to see a spike higher to attract more investors to go long potentially before melting through. The all-important palladium, expecting to see a rise from current price actually, but we could have a slight volatility spike to push through lower, so do keep an eye out of that. US oil, expecting to see a major meltdown for this one, but again we could see some more spikes through to the upside before pushing down pretty heavily. Gold, expecting to see a further push lower, potentially towards 1750, 1740, 1770 as our sort of pending areas or pending setups before pushing through towards 1831. AUDCAD, beautiful trade. We've been holding this for many weeks now, expecting to see 0.937 to be targeted through to this week. The all-important dollar, expecting to see an impulsive wave lower, potentially a wick higher from the start of this week. And volatility, expecting to see a rise to target 20, then 25, and then potentially towards 31. And that's that. Is there any questions before I finish up? Any questions? Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Just to keep you guys updated, on Wednesday I will be live at around 9 p.m. UK time. Every Sundays now I'm shifting the time back to around 10 a.m. UK time. So do stay tuned for these live links, because these trades that we're looking at, guys, they are extremely important, and they're most likely bound to be played out. So the trade doesn't always push through into profit straight away. It does manipulate traders. It does go the other way for quite some time before making that major move. So yeah, thanks once again, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks very much. Take care now. Bye now.